we're not just against the settlers, right? And we're not just for peace, right? The point is not peace. The point is peace with justice. The point is the total recalibration and rebuilding of some kind of different kind of society there, right? And on this point, this really interesting point about mobilizing moderates, I think what's missed, and this is an aspect of liberalism globally, is that what's missed is that you don't always mobilize moderates by appealing to how they already feel.
Right.
They're often mobilized by feeling guilty or by feeling like complicit in what it is that they are doing, right? My late comrade Joel Olson, he's a great political philosopher. He wrote about fanaticism, but his case was always the abolitionists in the United States. He said they didn't appeal to the center, right? The center being between slavery and the opposite, right? You don't look for a consensus around something that's between slavery and not slavery. You engage in a radical politics that draws lines, that redraws lines, and that pulls those moderates by forcing them to one side or the other. And I think that's a politics that people misunderstand, and it's got to do with this question, what is it that you do with the moderates, right? And you don't just appeal to them, right? You make it impossible for them to have any other kind of politics.
And you don't frame them as people who are just in the middle passively observing history, but that their moderate position and their passivity is in and of itself a form of complicity. Because that's the point. And every bottle of water they buy that's from a company that supports the occupation is complicity. Every time they vote for a politician who supports settlement expansion, who votes for settlement expansion, who continues to double down on the imbalance of the juridical imbalance between Palestinians in the West Bank and those inside of 48, or between Israeli citizens of Palestine, Jewish citizens of Palestine, excuse me, and Palestinian citizens of Israel, which I don't like to use as a language, but my point is, when you look at the differential sentencing, differential access to housing, education, healthcare, moderates are voting for these policies, right? I mean, for every joint, like the Joint List Party in the Knesset is a very small, radical party driven by Ayman Odeh. It's a minuscule part, right? The Likud Party, the Workers' Party. These are parties that are dominating the Israeli power structure, and they're dominating them even under the banner of being moderate. So, to your point, I think we have to not only drag moderates to a side, we have to point out, put the spotlight on the fact that there's really no such position at a certain level, right? It's like it's not moderate.
There's no in between.
Yeah, how are you moderate on slavery?
You're an abolitionist when you're involved.
Right. And if you're not, you're not, right? So.
Anything else?